you wanted to hop on here and issue an apology to Josh Rojas. And let me preface this by saying I would like to as well.
Josh Rojas, I'm sorry. I believe the words we used were placeholder and eventual Tacoma Rainier Josh Rojas. When we talked about him 2 weeks ago, it was our 1 week evaluation of the Mariners trade deadline returns. He was in the midst of an 0 for 14 at that point, and we're thinking, well, how serious are his contributions really going to be to this team? Does he really need to be there? And now 2 weeks later, yeah, he absolutely does. I love him hitting in the 9-hole. You could stay as long as you want, Josh Rojas.
This is the guy who was the 3-win player for the Diamondbacks last year. He hits righties. He can play solid defense. He can move around. He has an actual arm at second base. Like, guys, his arm strength ranks in the 61st percentile at second base, which is not the upper echelon of the league, but it's above average. And man, after watching Colton Wong try to turn double plays at second base, it is such a breath of fresh air to see those 6, 4, 3 double plays actually get turned. Yeah, he's been red hot at the plate over the last 10, 11 games, and he's been solid in the field too.
And he sounds like an awesome dude. Did you hear that interview you did on the radio the other day?
Mm-hmm. With Brock and Talk.
Yeah, he sounds like a genuine fun guy, and he had a lot to talk about too. I think one of the most important parts of this that he's heating up is the production the Mariners have gotten out of the 9-hole now. So J.P. Crawford at the beginning of the season was occupying that spot, but once the Mariners realized, oh shit, I think JP's significantly better than hitting in the 9-hole. Let's hit him leadoff. That's what they did. So since then, the combination against righties was Colton Wong and Jose Caballero out of that 9 spot. Colton Wong's WRC plus was, I forgot to write it down, about 50.
I think it was all this
season. It was pretty bad. It was pretty atrocious. And it was Jose Caballero as well, who has a 79 WRC plus versus righties. Josh Rojas has been significantly better in that short stretch against righties than that. And I think that alone lifts this offense up so much when you're not getting any production in front of the top 2 hitters of your lineup down in that 9-hole. And all of a sudden, Josh Rojas is heating up and hitting the ball, not just hitting it, he's hitting the ball hard as well. He's got a couple home runs after not hitting any in his first 59 games with the Diamondbacks. He did note when he's coming over that he was working on a couple things with his swing and trying to get better, and it seems like the Mariners helped him pay those things off.
Colton Wong's WRC plus was 36. So yes, Josh Rojas is an improvement.
Wow. I really oversold it. Wow. Oh, that wasn't even close. I should have known.
I
was shocked that home run he hit right before he got cut didn't raise it any higher.
Just inflate it to the moon.
Well, it probably was like 31 and it went up to 36. So apples and oranges.
So we're now seeing exactly why Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander worked so hard to have Josh Rojas in this trade package, right? Because we kind of talked about it when the trade happened and we were like, this is the guy they spent hours on end trying to include in this trade package to make it happen for Paul Sewald. I mean, some people scratch their heads at it just because he wasn't having a good year in Arizona. We're now seeing exactly why, right? Because this is now 2 very reliable, productive utility guys you have moving forward for the foreseeable future in both Dylan Moore and Josh Rojas.
And just think about how much better the bench is when we're talking about this Mariners turnaround. I mean, think of there's not a guy in this lineup that you're like, why are they hitting today?
So in a day that Josh Rojas starts at second and an otherwise normal lineup, at least right now, we're not counting Kelenic yet because he's not back from injury. Currently, the bench would be Jose Caballero, it would be Dylan Moore, it would be, I guess we can include, say, if Tom Murphy's healthy, Tom Murphy, and if Cade Marlowe's the odd man out in the outfield, then Marlowe. Yeah, that's a really good bench. That's
versatility and production up and down that bench. It's so much different than A.J. Pollock on your bench.
That's what I was going to say. It's a little different than A.J. Pollock, Colton Wong, and Tommy La Stella.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's a huge part of this turnaround. Like, you have so many good players on your roster. Like, think of just the difference it makes when you swap out your anchors, your guys who are dragging you down with guys who are serviceable to good. It changes everything. And I don't know if it's a straight causation with the trade deadline and these guys, but they've helped a lot. They really have. It's fascinating, and I've been a really big fan of what we've seen from Josh Rojas. Even like starting rallies yesterday against the White Sox, they're in the ninth inning. It's Josh who started it. Cade Marlowe strikes out to start the ninth inning, but Josh Rojas, 1 out, no one on, single, boom, and then the floodgates opened right after him. And Mariners were that close to sweeping and winning nine in a row.
He's been great. I should clarify, by the way, when I was given the example of the bench players, I threw Tom Murphy in there. And again, he is hurt right now. It's currently Brian O'Keefe, but assuming when Murphy gets his spot back, the guys I listed out is what the bench will look like. And as we just detailed, it's way better. But look at Rojas over his last 11 games. I don't think we've highlighted this yet. 395 average, 1044 OPS, 2 bombs, 15 hits, 3 walks, and 3 stolen bases. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good for the 9th guy in your lineup or someone that might be on the bench these days. If you can pull a guy off the bench who's on a scorcher 395 over your last 11 games, it helps a lot. It does. And he's been a really nice find, and I think Jerry was, as of now, right in getting him. And it's nice to see the player, not the player that he was in Arizona this year, but the player they envisioned they were getting this year now on their roster. And we can see why Jerry and Justin spent so much time, like you said, trying to get him.
Last thing here I've got on Rojas. Even his time in Seattle as a whole, his OPS plus is 120. And that's after having such a tough start in his first handful of games. 120 OPS plus. He's 20% above league average since joining the ball club. This is the guy they traded for. Not the guy that was having a down year in Arizona. This Josh Rojas is what they saw and what they wanted and what they, like you said, envisioned he could be. And now he's doing it.
Oh, and he also had a clutch single last week against Kansas City. Forgot he's had 2 clutch moments so far. So that's good. That's good. Let's see. Oh, last thing, dog, on Josh Rojas. Does he get dinged at all because he laid down a perfect bunt?
On this podcast, yes. Nobody should ever be dropping down bunts.
Yeah. It was a pretty good bunt. Did score a run. But we stand firm. We do. We do stand firm.
Did you see Julio attempt to drop down a bunt the other day?
No, I must have missed it.
You might have been out at football practice, to be fair. The Mariners were playing a day game. I don't ever want to see that again. Literally ever. I do not ever want to see you attempt to drop down a bunt ever again.
Yes. Yeah. I like that.
No.